Tonight, as millions of Americans wonder where their stimulus check is, wonder where their FPUC is, and wonder where their hazard pay is, it's so important with the spirit of this channel to remain focused, to remain positive, and keep our feet on the ground. The focus of this channel and launching this channel back on April 25th was to help people find money they couldn't find. They knew was out there, but they weren't getting it. We knew paths weren't not going to be easy. That was the purpose of this channel. On the very first day in which I started to record on April 25th, my purpose was to help people who knew that they qualified for money or knew that money was coming for them during this pandemic under stimulus packages, but that they had not received it. The purpose of this channel was not to simply say, I know where your check is and it's coming and I will track it for you. No, that was not the purpose. And what had folded over the weeks that followed was a path that really showed things aren't particularly always easy. But because things aren't easy, it doesn't mean we give up. It doesn't mean that we roll over. It doesn't mean we wait until it gets in our bank account, otherwise we don't believe it's coming. No, that was never the spirit of this channel. And on those very first days of recording on an empty beach, I said, you will get your money, with that finger going down. Tonight, the message is no change. The message has not modified. The message is no different. You will get your money. It's not coming tomorrow. It's not coming today. It's not coming the day after it. But you will get it. And together, we'll fight for it. Every single penny you're owed, and you'll eventually get those pennies. This is Purple Power. Hey, good evening, everybody, or good morning, depending on when I upload this video. It will be a late video, so I'll either upload it the next morning or keep it for this evening, depending on how late it's running. But I thought it was important to record this video in a night in which a lot of things are turning all different directions. So if you have not, please subscribe to this channel. Go to the Funnest channel, subscribe, because this is a channel unlike any others. This is a channel to help get you money that you're owed. This is not a channel to give you advice or to read you newspaper articles or tell you about how I flipped a house or trimmed a hedge or cut a car. Cut a car? You got the point. It's a channel to get you money that you're owed and get you through this pandemic. And also, like this video. When I first started recording the videos of this channel, I didn't know who my audience was, but I knew what the subject matter was. And the subject matter has been virtually unchanged since day one. It's just what I'm covering has changed progressively. On day one, I was covering PPP, PUA, EIDL grants, and EIDL loans, explaining to people why they may not have gotten money, or how to get money for something that had just gone live, or how to apply for money that was coming up in the case of PUA, which was coming up on April 28th, 3 days after this channel launched. And I explained to viewers how you get money, or how, if you have not gotten money, how you will get money. And I want to give you an example because this example explains where we are tonight on your stimulus check, your stimulus package, your second stimulus check, your third stimulus check, your first stimulus check, your hazard pay, your FPUC, and everything else. I want to use the example. And this is an example of the spirit that you should feel tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on when I upload this video. On a given night during the lockdown, early on, I believe it was the month of April, I thought, what better way to uplift viewers' sentiments than to do a live recording? It's not my first, I think it was my third. And I thought, let's do it on Rodeo Drive. Everyone loves a beautiful store. Everyone loves a store display. Everyone loves a Christmas display in Macy's or Neiman Marcus, and everyone loves beauty and design and glamour. So I thought, let's go to Rodeo Drive. And that's where I shot. What I did was you could see me, but I also shot into the gorgeous windows of stores that had been closed during this pandemic, had been closed for months. And I showed beautiful things to keep people's spirits up. But along the discussion was how to get your relief. We talked about EIDL loans and grants and PPP and PUA, and I answered people's questions. And it was at that point that it was clear what the message of this channel was. We're not going to sit around and mope in a dark dungeon room with black walls and black cobwebs and pout and cry and roll in a ball and say nothing's coming to us and feel depressed. No. We're going to feel inspired, motivated, positive, be friendly to one another, and get through this together. And during that recording, I answered a lot of questions. It went on for no less than 2 hours. And I showed beautiful stores. And there was even a fire during that day. I recorded a fire happening as fire trucks raced down Rodeo Drive. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people got motivated. A lot of people got information. And from that recording really ballooned what became called the vortex. People who had not understood why they had not gotten money but had applied on April 30th and April 31st and March 30th, March 31st, and April 8th for EIDL loans have not gotten money. And we found together how to get a solution. Tonight, when we talk about stimulus checks, stimulus packages, FPUC, hazard pay, rent aid, student loan forgiveness, mortgage forbearance, it's all the same thing. We're here to figure out how to get from point A to point B. And that no one in those first days of this channel and no one today on this channel today should either do the same, sat back and said, I'm never getting anything. That was never a mood of this channel then. It was not a mood of this channel today. And that someone who says, you know what, I hate to tell you, but I don't see it ever happening. Delete. Yeah, there's a reason why you don't see comments like on this channel. Delete. The comments that are negative nannies, that are basically people that want to be the bearer of draconian, horrible, gloomy news are not allowed on this channel because gloom and doom doesn't get you anything. It's very easy to sit back and put your black robe over your head and say, you're not getting anything, and get ready to die. It's just, Count Dracula only comes once a year, and it's a Saturday or Sunday. And other than that, Dracula omens are not allowed on this channel, and it's not allowed today. On Tuesday night next week, you will potentially see some election results, but you may also not see some others. You may not know the results of certain things, and on Wednesday morning when you wake up, you may still not know the results. But as I have pre-warned the viewers of this channel and the Purple Power, that ultimately I expect full storm, both broadcast news, print media, comments on this channel, comments on social media. People will say, I told you that tomorrow, or I can predict that this won't be happening. I can predict one thing, that's going to happen. I can predict that someone's going to predict something that's ultimately going to be wrong. And I can predict that their prediction is something that they absolutely have no idea what they're talking about. The bottom line is no one knows what's going to happen on Wednesday. And they're probably not going to know what's going to happen on Wednesday till Thursday. And what's important to sit here as you focus on stimulus is to understand the world has not ended because your stimulus has not gone away. No one has stopped the conversation of stimulus. Rather, it's a very positive moment because it's front page. Rather, because the stock market crashed 900 points today because of 3 reasons, the first of which is your stimulus. If you think about it, remember what I said was the most troubling thing that I'm always most worried about. That people forget about you. That people forget about your stimulus, that people forget how much you're owed, that people forget you were an essential worker, that you need hazard pay, that you're entitled to FPUC. I'm always worried that my ability with a channel that has 300,000 followers and a channel that has a couple million views every day and has a couple 100,000 social media followers on 2 or 3 platforms, maybe, $750,000, still cannot push the compass enough to keep it as front page news in the New York Times. I just simply cannot. So that is only pushed by broadcast news, which is a much more powerful medium. And ultimately, my biggest concern is that they don't keep you front page news. Well, the good news is we have it tonight, is they are. The good news is that the president is keeping it front page news. The good news is that the dispute between Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump is keeping it front page news. So you will get stimulus. The question is how much, and the question is when. I've always told the viewers of this channel since day one, don't ever expect your money to land on a particular day with any stimulus package of this federal government. The reason why is because on day one of this channel, I recorded the EIDL grant. The application literally said, this is the application, that when you apply, within 3 business days, you will receive $10,000. It literally says that. It says 3 days, you'll get $10,000. I recorded that video on April 25th. Guess what? That was 25 days after they launched that program. And after 25 days, not one person had received a single penny. So guess what? How many people may have wondered, I thought I was supposed to get $10,000 in 3 days, and I went out and bought something, presuming I was going to get the $10,000 in 3 days. What's important to understand is that if it's stimulus check, if it's FPUC, if it's hazard pay, you should not determine your financial stability during this pandemic on the arrival of the check on a particular day or a particular week or a particular month, because you're dealing with Congress. They don't care. Ultimately, it will come. The question is when. And the examples I have of this channel are just enormous. Shervon, one of my earliest viewers that was part of my live chat in Redondo Beach, he had gotten an EIDL loan for $5,000. He wasn't going to cut it. He knew it was just too small. It was inapplicable. It was ridiculous. So he did a loan increase. It took him 4 months, I believe, and finally he got his full amount of money. But he had to hold out for 4 months. He lived in his car for several weeks until he could get that full loan. How about Kevin Lee, my other viewer out of Texas, who needed a rent aid grant? It took him several weeks. He finally got it. And then he had problems with his PUA. He watched all my videos. He never got it. Finally, after all his fighting, using all my information, he got 16 grand. 16 grand. Now, did he expect and make a note on his checking account, I'm getting 16 grand tomorrow, back in April? No. Did he predict I need a stimulus check exactly on April 25th? I need it right now? No. Ultimately, if your focus in this entire discussion is tracking a check from point A to point B, it's unfortunate because this Congress doesn't work that way. It's the federal government. If you never dealt with the federal government, they move slow, and they admit they move slow. And so if you're tracking the check from point A to point B, don't do that, because that doesn't get you anywhere. What I'm here is to get you lots of money, and there will be lots of programs under this program, under the second stimulus package when it's approved. There'll be hazard pay-ish grants. There'll be EIDL grants. There'll be EIDL loans. There'll be PPP. There'll be grants. There'll be loans. There'll be applications. There'll be rent aids. There'll be a lot of stuff. But it's important to understand you have to have patience, and you also have to have financial stability. Ultimately, the Purple Power has done an exceptional job by absolutely ramping up on information, knowing the details even better than I'm reporting them, going from not being told much of anything to now being almost mentors on the subject to other people. It's absolutely incredible, going from not disinterested to now advocates for how much money they need. And more important, keeping the discussion focused professionally and motivationally, rather than sitting back and saying, you know what, I'm Dracula and I'm going to bite you and then I'll see you next year. No, that just isn't how it works, except on Halloween. So as you start the new day, it's important to remain focused, to remain positive, and to remain on point. You will get your second stimulus check. Ultimately, if you want to sit back and you want to be part of the community, please subscribe, because you will get every penny you need and more. I'm not going anywhere, and you're not going anywhere, hopefully. So go to the Funds channel, subscribe. We'll get through this pandemic. We'll get every penny that you're owed. Every single day, I continue to update how many new pennies you're owed and how many pennies you could be owed. And we're keeping count. And also like this video. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay FLA for more.